Yo, what is going on, guys? Today I'm going to be going over what cars I would buy if I had $5,000, $10,000, and $20,000. Forewarning, I am not a mechanic, I'm not a professional driver, I'm just a guy that have owned or had some sort of experience or ridden passenger in any of these cars. So semi-spoiler alert, a lot of them are going to be Japanese cars just because that's what I've mainly dealt with and have been dealing with in my current and past ownership. But yeah, let's get into it. So starting off with the first cars I would buy for under $5,000 would be the Acura Integra DC2, DC4, DB8 chassis, just the 90s Integras, and also the EG EKs, those Civics, the coupes as well from the 90s. People will hate on Hondas online. People always be like, oh, they're slow, they're front wheel drive, they're no fun. They're affordable, they're reliable, there's so much aftermarket support for them, and also there's so many motors from other Hondas that you can swap into them. I would say the only con or reliability issue that you're gonna run into is the B series. They're known for burning oil, especially like the Geos, anything with like VTEC. Later down the line, if you get your bread up, you know, you only have $5,000 now, a couple months, maybe a year down the line, you have a couple extra $1,000. There are K swaps, 8 series swaps, B20 swaps, F20 swaps. You can turbocharge the D series in the Civics. There are so many different options you can go. And honestly, if you don't care about power, they're great out the factory with just simple springs, coilover setups, sway bars, and like good pads and brakes. Hey guys, we actually have a sponsor for today's video, and that sponsor is Viofo. They have sent me their A329T 3-channel dash cam. Features a 4K camera in the front, 2K interior, and a 2K rear camera. Let me show you guys. Currently getting the old GoPro mount off. This is Dan's current dash cam. All right, halfway through the install.
The biggest part was getting this wire there.
Yeah, so this is all done through the headliner right there, so it's all going to be tucked super nicely. And then all right guys, this is the final install of the camera. All right guys, this is the final install. Super sleek, hidden behind the rear view mirror. And then this is the rear camera, wires tucked away through the headliner, super sleek. This Viofo dash cam features a 4K front camera, 2K telephoto interior camera, and a 2K rear camera. The front camera uses a Sony Starvis 2 image sensor for a sharp, low noise footage with minimal blur. The dash cam also features hybrid parking recording, which combines time-lapse, low bitrate, or even crash detection while parked. All 3 cameras support HDR, effectively reducing overexposure at night and improving the image clarity. This dash cam also supports massive external SSD storage up to 4 terabytes. One of my favorite cameras is the front-facing telephoto lens. This camera really helps me capture license plates even if I'm at a distance. So yeah, thank you so much to Viofo for sending me this dash cam. If you guys want to get one for yourself, I'll put the link in the description down below. Next car is the NA, NB, NC Miata. And a lot of you are like, where can I find an NC? Yeah, the NC's pushing the line, I understand that, of $5,000. But you can find early model NCs like the 06, 07 for like under $5,000. You know, it's a little rare, but you gotta look for them. People also make fun of Miatas online. They're like, oh, it's not like a real sports car. You know, they only have 130, 140, 150 horsepower. They're great sports cars, lightweight, tons of aftermarket support, tons and tons of aftermarket support. If you want to boost it down the line, that's also an option. There's so much aftermarket support for that. There's a reason why you see so many of them at the track. It's because they're good, affordable track cars. They're good, affordable grip cars. I have seen people drift them as well. Some of the models had OEM Torsen diffs, and they're great. I've never, ever seen an OEM Miata diff fail. I have also been in a turbocharged NA, NB Miata, and they literally feel like smaller RX-7 FDs. I own an RX-7 FD, and I can tell you guys right now, for a track car, I would much rather be in a boosted NA, NB Miata. It is literally 1/3 the price of an RX-7 FD, and it is 9/10 the experience of an RX-7 FD. Maybe even more, because you can just full send the Miata, not feel bad about putting miles or beating it up, because it's not an RX-7 FD, you know what I'm saying? All right, next car is gonna be an E36, 325, or 328i. These are great platforms, great cars. You can find plenty of them manual under $5,000. They're literally the same exact body as the E36 M3, so you can convert it into, at least the body-wise, into an M3 for very cheap, under $1,000, to make tons of rep kits. Ethan opened me up to the world of E36 to E46s. What I've learned from him is that all E36, all E46 parts for the most part are interchangeable. That means that there are a lot of great OEM options, wheels, motor swaps, transmission swaps. Stock ZF transmissions, super strong, good for like 500-600 horsepower. I'm telling you guys, like, People will be like talk crap about BMWs, like the newer ones and stuff. They're all the same, but these old BMWs that can be had for under $5,000, they really are something, because BMW truly does. And when I say overbuild, they really do overbuild their parts. Very practical, comfortable, has AC, lots of trunk space. There's 4-door options available. Out of all the options I've said so far, the E36, E46 is literally like one of the most practical. This fourth option I had to throw in because I feel like people would give me shit if I throw in too many JDM cars, but the next is a Volkswagen GTI Mark IV. I haven't owned one personally, but I've ridden along in one, and honestly, they're turbocharged out the factory. Hatchback, lots of space, very practical, looks good, 2-door, they're lightweight. The only bad thing about them is that most of them have been abused. If you guys see online, a lot of people put like the AK-47 two-step tunes on them, which kind of destroys the turbochargers and also the valves in the head. If you can find a good stock one that is manual already for under $5,000, preferably owned by someone older that hasn't abused it, definitely buy one. I really like these cars. I've never could find one in like good stock condition. They've all been kind of like clapped out and had like the AK-47 tunes on them. So the last and final car, I know there are so many more options, but I wanted to keep this list kind of short, is a Lexus SC300. I haven't personally driven one, but I've had a ride along in one of these, and they're solid cars. I would say they're more on the side of being a good drift car just because they're a little bit heavier for like a grip car, because it's like it's a Lexus, it's a luxury car. Practicality wise, honestly, super comfortable. Very reliable drivetrain, 2JZ GE non-VVTi. For all the drifters out there, if you want to boost it later, these are the motors to boost because the rods are just as strong as the 2JZ GTE found in the Mark IV Supra. The SC300 is literally considered the poor man's Supra. It's the same chassis, I believe. All right, next guys, we're gonna be going over cars under $10,000. So the first car on this list could have probably been on the other list, but you know, I'm trying to be like realistic. So cars under $10,000, Nissan 350Z. Yes, you can find them under $5,000. I feel like solid ones are over $5,000, under $10,000. So tons of aftermarket support for these cars. Rear wheel drive, 300 horsepower out the factory, 3.5 liter V6. I have owned 3 of them. One of them has been really good, and that being the HR. So if you can find a 07, 08 for under $10,000, which you definitely can, great cars. They make really good grip cars, or they can also make really good drift cars. I feel like these have been popularized in the drift community, which is valid because they're rear wheel drive, have a good amount of horsepower stock, and they slide really well. However, my HR, I took it on the track and it actually handled very well with the grip setup. So I would say the only cons to these cars are that they don't have a ton of space, being that they're a 2-seater. You ain't fitting 4 people in there, and you ain't fitting a full set of wheels in there. So, but yeah, good cars. The next car I have ridden along in is an IS300. Yeah, people call these the 4-door Supra. I don't really know why. They have a 2JZ GE VVTi. They had really weak rods. You can't really boost them and make over like 350 wheel. If you can find a factory manual 5-speed, they come with OEM LSDs. They have a solid amount of power, I think 230 horsepower. Lots of space, 4-door. If you ever want to swap in like a 2JZ GTE from a Supra or the Aristo, a lot of people do the CDO9 and the 2JZ GTE. That's a lot of tens of thousands of dollars. So that's if you guys want to go down that route. But honestly, out the factory, great cars. The next car is the Honda Civic FA5. This is the SI. So this is actually what I pulled the motor out of to put in my white Integra. I really like how these cars look. And the greatest thing about them is they come in coupes and they also come in 4-doors. So depending on how much space you want, you know what I'm saying? I really like the 4-doors personally. Once again, it's a Honda. I've seen these cars go to 200,000+ miles with no issues. 200 horsepower at the factory, front wheel drive, OEM LSD, 4.7 final drive. Lightweight, I think they weigh like 2,900, 3,000 pounds. Super practical. I mean, yeah, sure, they're not as luxurious as like newer BMWs or anything like that, but they're super practical. Get good gas mileage. If you ever get a couple of extra thousands of dollars, there's a ton of turbocharger and also supercharger kits available for the car if you want to increase the horsepower on them. I know you guys are probably thinking, this guy's biased. I'm definitely biased. Next car, I'm also very biased on. are the Subaru WRXs, the 2002 to 2007. So the Bug Eye, Hawkeye, and the Blob Eye. I personally had a Bug Eye 2002. Super practical, 4-door, tons of trunk space. Come in wagons if you want even more trunk space. All-wheel drive. You can take them up to the snow if you live in like snowy areas. Great mid-range torque with the turbocharged boxer motor, unequal length headers. They only weigh like 3,100 pounds or something like that. As long as you keep up with the maintenance on them, I don't think that you'll blow the car up. I've heard stories that they're prone to blowing the motor up if you tune them up. I kept mine stock. Mine never blew up on me, but yeah, these are fantastic cars. Next car, you know, coming from all my RX-7 owners, you guys might throw some hate. You know what I'm saying? I feel like these cars get a lot of hate, but the RX-8, the late model ones with the better transmissions like the 2008, 2009 are super, super good chassis for under $10,000. Super high revving rotary. I think they revved to like 9,000 RPM or something like that, paired with the 6-speed transmission and torsion rear diff. Balanced chassis, 50-50 weight distribution, rear wheel drive chassis. Got the suicide doors, half suicide doors. It's got kind of back seats. They're not that big, but still has back seats if you need them. Tons of aftermarket support. Really affordable way to get in a rotary car. Yeah, I've seen these cars on track and they rip. I will say there are a couple cons to these cars, them being that they are a rotary. So because they're a rotary and if they're not maintained and just owned by the normal person that doesn't know about motor that burns oil naturally, I guess, I don't know if there's a con, but if you're a kind of person that wants more power, these are high compression rotors, being that it is an N8 rotary engine that makes 220 horsepower or something like that and revs out to 9,000. You cannot turbocharge them. That's just fact of the matter. You cannot turbocharge the Renesis motor. It will blow up. You got to be happy with the 220 horsepower. That's it. That's all you're going to get. Be happy. Right, next category, cars under $20,000. The first car on this list is going to be a Honda S2000. I'm going to get a lot of shit for this because I've named like Hondas in every single category. Genuinely, the Honda S2000 is such a good car. Makes 240 horsepower out of a 2-liter inline 4, revs to 9,000 RPM, 6-speed transmission, LSD, rear wheel drive. They only came in manual, so you don't have to worry about any jank manual swaps. Relatively low maintenance. It is a Honda. I've seen plenty of S2000s that were well maintained, go over 200,000 miles. These cars are 25 years old now, timeless design. They look super sleek. Being that I'm from California, I've also seen plenty of them stance, and they also look really good stance as well. Many of you may disagree with that, but I mean, I like all kinds of cars. I like drift cars, I like drag cars, I like track cars, and I like stance cars. I don't discriminate, I don't segregate. So I've driven my dad's on the track many times, and not a ton of space to do anything. It's a 2-seater, pretty small cabin, 0 trunk space. Practicality wise, you're not getting much space wise, but it is a really, really great driver's car. All right, next car is going to be an ND Miata. So this is the 4th generation. Yeah, I would say if you can, get an ND2 Miata. They're lightweight, only weigh 2,500 pounds, 180 horsepower out the factory engine. They have no space. They are just like an S2000. Do not expect to have any space in these cars. Yeah, good cars. Next car is the GT86 or the GR86. People always talk crap, be like, oh, like everyone has one. Like, yeah, like why do you think everyone has one? Because they're good. 50-50 weight distribution, lightweight, only weigh 2,800 pounds, affordable, rear-wheel drive, came with an OEM Torsen LSD, tons of aftermarket support, affordable aftermarket parts. When Toyota, Subaru, whatever, like the BRZ86 released this car, they really focused on making it an affordable sports car, just like the ND Miata. I would say the GT86, GR86s range from anywhere from like $10,000 to $30,000 if you buy one brand new. The back seats are absolutely useless. I don't know why they put back seats. They should have just made it a 2-seater, but probably for insurance purposes. All right, the next car, this might come out of left field because you guys never seen me drive one, but I have driven one, is the Evo 8 and Evo 9 chassis. I think this is like one of the coolest sedans you can get. Tons of aftermarket support, very tunable. 50-50 weight distribution for a sedan. Only weighs 2,800 pounds. All-wheel drive. Tons of space, good trunk space. This is gonna sound bad, but God, people are gonna hate me for this, but like, I will say that I think that they handle power better over the Subarus. Yeah, that comes at a cost, obviously. They cost way more than a Subaru WRX, so. All right, next car, so no one hates me, okay? I have to throw this in because I want one. I've also been in one. I've driven one. Great cars, is the C5, C6 Corvette. I don't have to say much. All I gotta say is V8 American Bald Eagle power. Out the factory, great power, great torque. You literally get a C6. It makes like 400 horsepower, like 400 foot-pounds of torque out the factory. OEM LSD. The gears in the C5 and C6 are known to be super long. They only weigh 32 to 3,300 pounds, and that's pretty light considering it's a V8 muscle car. Tons of aftermarket support. If you throw cams, headers, intake on the car and tune it, you can literally make on the LS2, LS3s 500 wheel horsepower. I would say the only common issues or cons is that you got to watch out for the rear diff leaking and it whining, and then also the torque tube failure. As long as those two are done, solid cars. All right, the last car on cars under $20,000 is the E46 M3. I know these cars very well. I've gone up against them in my K20 swapped Integra. My housemate has one. It is an amazing car. It truly is a great car out the factory, and it has so much aftermarket support for it. I will never say this to Ethan's face, but out of all the cars I've listed for under $20,000, out the factory, the 46 M3 is probably the best on the track. And because it is a BMW, the interior quality is really, really good, honestly. You can literally daily it. I think it's also one of the best dailies out of all of these cars, just in terms of like pure like driving experience. Of course, all of these great features don't come without its cons. Of course, I gotta shit on the car a little bit just to make myself feel better, just for running 1 second slower in my K20 Integra than Ethan in his E46 M3 on the track. You guys don't know, they're known for having the big 3 issues. The first being rod bearing failure, the second being Vanos failure, their rear subframe cracking. But yeah, guys, that's my list of cars. Like I said before, these are all cars I've had experience with, so I apologize like if I didn't cover like hyper niche cars or other types of cars. If there are any other cars like you guys think for each category, please drop them in the comments down below. Drop some free ball for all the other viewers, you know what I'm saying? This is just from my personal experience. Once again, I'm not a professional. I'm not a professional racer. This is just my opinion. So hope you guys enjoyed the video, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.